Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Dychronic here on this Destiny 2 video, and today we're going to be taking a look at This Week at Bungie for February 6, 2020. This Week at Bungie is basically going to be your news post about Destiny 2 in the past week, current week, and the next few weeks of Destiny 2. And of course, my versions, cute fluffy animals, good synopsis of what's going on and summaries of the different sections, and of course, the occasional joke that makes me look silly. And if you like that, continue to watch, as well as apparently phone notifications that don't know their place. It was the email from Bungie saying the Crimson Days is coming. Wow, what are the chances? Anyways, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. In a nutshell, there's a kind of medium amount of information in this one. They mostly talk about Empyrean Foundation and the new seal, the Crimson Days being the primary focus of what's coming up in the future. They also talk about some updates to swords, which is something very exciting, as well as some known issues and whatnot. So not a large amount, but it's definitely something to look forward to with the Crimson Days on the horizon. First and foremost, calendar is on screen right now. The last thing that we do know about in their rollout calendar is the Crimson Days. They have not told us about anything else that's going on right now, but we do know from a lot of different sources, data mining, all that whatnot, Empyrean Foundation appearing in the Crucible section as an unlockable playlist, that we're probably going to be getting some Trials of Osiris, Trials of the Nine coming next season. And that's just what the community seems to be saying from what they've gathered. And if you haven't seen that already, it's really exciting. Even for somebody who doesn't play Trials, I know that a lot of people are going to be yelling very loud. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. This first section talks about Inotam, the new Scion boss in the Sundial he has released. It makes it so you're 2 steps closer to actually getting that Savior title, getting that pin and all that whatnot. And there's also going to be the Empyrean Foundation. We as a community have reached step 3 out of 7, have donated 1.2 billion fractal to the cause. The next step is going to be 2.2 billion, and I'm going to tell you right now, most of you are not doing this correctly. You do not want to donate your fractal at this current moment. You want to reinvest it in all of the planetary obelisk around the different area for every single week until the very last week, which you can see is in like 33 days or so. You can actually see on the season pass. And once we hit that final week, then donate it all to the Empyrean Foundation. That's how we do it. That's how you get the most benefit out of it. And you don't need a separate 18-minute video to explain that. Just don't donate, keep collecting, keep reinvesting, and then donate it all on the last week. And once the community has in fact completed that final 7th step, we actually will get that last final triumph for the Savior seal, allowing it to be unlocked by everyone. That being said, you also still have to get all the other, triumphs and whatnot, but that is the final one that most people will have. Up next, let's talk about Crimson Days. It's going to be the 2v2 PvP event for Destiny 2. Came out in Destiny 1, has been going on ever since then. You basically want to pair up with a teammate, play the 2v2 playlist where you have heightened senses when you're near your teammate, and you also are marked through walls when you're not near your teammates. So you're very highly incentivized to work with your team, with your teammates specifically, and actually win those rounds and win the game. So it is a PvP only event, and you're going to get a bunch of different kinds of rewards. First of all, probably the most important part to me, a PvE player, is that there's going to be bright dust and double experience for those weekly and daily bounties. On top of that, you're going to stockpile the new consumable, the confectionery hearts that you use during this event. And with those confectionery hearts, you can get some of the new items, the sparrows, the ornaments, the packages that'll give you a bunch of random stuff that we've seen before, emotes, all that whatnot. There's also a special reward. Once you get the sparrow, you can get this special emblem through the Bungie Rewards website. Obviously, there's a whole lot of other things. Obviously, here's the emote that everybody's been looking forward to, that is in action, that makes a little heart thing right in the middle there. Personally, I'm most excited for this ghost right here. This is a very cool looking ghost shell. Everything else is pretty much repeat other than the projection and the emote and the ghost shell. So that's what I'm looking forward to, and of course the double experience. And Crimson Days will be going on from February 11th to February 18th, 2020, like we saw on the calendar before. Next up, let's talk about swords. Now, personally, I have always said since the beginning of Destiny 2, swords have been useless. Now, they have been buffed several times since then, and there are instances that I would say swords excel in, including the fact that it has, like, in the top 5 DPSs and total ammo damage in the game right now for some of the swords with Relentless and Whirlwind, but they're going to be changing how swords work completely, and it's a lot of things that I'm very excited for and to see exactly how it can be used. So instead of making swords a heavy slot weapon that has a certain amount of ammo, they're instead going to change that into sword energy. And you're going to be able to use this in place of your regular melee attack so that it can be used more readily and more easily. Now that's what I understand from this. I'm not too sure. There's a lot of ambiguous language I would like some confirmation in the comments down below. But once you do actually get at least one ammo for your heavy and you actually get the sword energy started, this energy will slowly tick up over time, allowing you to use it more consistently. On top of that, the guarding, light attack, and heavy attack will still be included in the sword's use. I'm just the most confused or the most interested in how it can be used without actually using it. Like every time you use a melee attack, does that mean you pull out the sword, you hit with it? Every time you hit the block button, somehow you can trigger a block button while not actually using the weapon? I'm curious exactly how they're going to be integrating this sword into just regular gameplay, because if you can use a sword readily throughout the entire time while you're shooting guns, flying through the air, the game is going to be shifting drastically, because that is going to be a very important thing to be able to just instantly be able to block an attack no matter what's going on, no matter what weapon you have out, as long as you have sword energy. That's going to be kind of game changing, but obviously you are sacrificing your heavy for that. But I could potentially be understanding this incorrectly, so don't, of course, take that with a grain of salt. And of course, make sure you check out the TWAB article to read it yourself, because it's definitely looks like something new. On top of that, there's a bunch of other miscellaneous information, like the light attacks can now cleave. On top of that, you also can bypass a portion of shields with your sword to kind of distinguish it from shotguns. Moving on to the Dr. Bungie section, which is headed by this blue section at the top. Gonna be talking about the known issues, the updates and stuff coming in the future. First and foremost, for those of you who are having troubles with the Empyrean Foundation, you first have to complete a couple different quests before you can actually start it. You have to complete the quest from Osiris, A Matter of Time, and 3 of these Saint 14 quests. So complete those first, and then you can start the quest line for Empyrean Foundation. Next up, the Crimson Days is there's already a couple of known issues for the event. If you already have the emblem from last year, all you have to do is delete that emblem from your inventory to be able to claim that next emblem for this year's stuff, so you can actually start up the milestone. Players who are removed from a match will rejoin and respawn after their current round ends, and the Crimson Daily Bounties do not advance the Crucible Bounty Vendor Challenge. On top of that, the next hotfix for 2711, which is going to be coming out on February 11th, the same time that Crimson Days is going to be going on. They're fixing the issue with the Effort Deeds Gift Triumph, will now retroactively activate and track everything that has been done. Oh man, it's been a long day. The Get Closer Pursuit used to have an issue if you reset your infamy. It lost the rank progress for that, and that will auto-complete for those of you who have in fact completed at least Mythic in that season, and they will do that retroactively. Hey, I said it right this time. And also there's going to be a new Iron Banner Triumph added to the Trax Purchase package with Lord Saladin, which is also retroactive. And that update will have a downtime of 15 minutes from 8:45 to 9 a.m. And lastly, some current known issues in the general scope of things. Players are continuing to report increased load times after 2.7.1. As a PlayStation player myself, increased load times, I don't really notice it because I go off and, use the bathroom, get a drink, and, I come back and it's still loading, so I don't really notice a difference. Playing the Odds emblem does not drop and cannot be acquired from emblems. They're hoping to fix that very soon. The Bright Future quest, we have to pick up Orbs of Light for the Empyrean Foundation, as that released this week. If you're having trouble with that actually counting those Orbs of Light, just delete the quest and then pick it up again. And that's going to be pretty much it. After that, obviously, you have the movies of the week. This is actually one that I recommend you watching, where the guy hit a clip with every single exotic in Destiny 2. Very skilled person, was locking onto heads, very fast moving, and honestly, it was very inspiring. Every time when I watched it, I was like, oh, I would love to do this. I got to get in PvP and train up, bud, because this looks like a lot of fun. But, oh man, that sounds like a lot of work, because this is a very impressive display. After that, you have the other movie of the week with Guardian Bowling. Bowling's live and all that whatnot. And the very last thing they wanted to mention is going to be the Fashion Week. Every once in a while they have Fashion Week where they say, hey, dress up your Guardian in the best outfit that you possibly can, and we're going to pick our favorites and give you this exclusive emblem. I have not once seen anybody on my friends list with this, so it's a very exclusive emblem. And to qualify, you have to have the Starlight Starbright emblem, have it equipped in your particular picture. And that's the way you get that is for supporting the Guardians for Australia Foundation efforts, which supported the Australian bushfire efforts. And if you want to enter, all you have to do is reply to this tweet linked on the TWAB, which is in the description down below. But that's it. That's the end of the TWAB. Let me know in the comments down below if you have any questions, concerns, tips, tricks, or you just wanted to say hi, I like hippos. Put it in the comments down below. That's it. My name is Dychronic, and I will see you guys on the next one.